be positive, convince Canadians that we're the right ones to manage them through this crisis. Look, if there's not a crisis, you wouldn't be seeing me. I am most useful. I'm honest. I'm most useful in crisis. I'm not that good in peacetime. Don't tell anyone because I might, Good, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Churchill.
You can let me know when it's 1945, and I'll be. But this is. It's 38. You know what it is? It's 1938. And the question is, do you appease these guys? Chamberlain, never. Exactly. You stand up. That's what gets you through it.
And we do it the Canadian.
And we.
Crisis man. He only shows up if there's a crisis. The thing is, there was no crisis until he showed up. He promised us this amazing trade deal on July 21st. He said he was the only person that can negotiate with Donald Trump. And all the elbows up across the country said, fight, fight, fight. We know you're going to get us the best deal. And from July 21st all the way to August 1st, we now have a higher tariff rate across the board. We're at 35% tariff. And now Kuzma is on the table in the fall. And what did he do? He sent our expert negotiator to Washington, D.C. Who is that? Justin Trudeau's babysitter, Dominic LeBlanc. Out of 41 million Canadians, that is our #1 negotiator. Justin Trudeau's babysitter. It can't get any worse than this. My expectations of Dominic LeBlanc coming home with an amazing trade deal from Donald Trump is next to zero. Then he does the digital service tax, something that is extremely toxic to the Republicans and the Democrats. It was a no-go from the very beginning. What did he do? He waited to the very last second to have it removed. And he said, well, we were going to remove it later. Why don't we just remove it now? We got zero concessions from that. All we did is piss off Donald Trump. Then we got this Bill 5. Bill 5 has been a complete disaster. He didn't consult with the First Nations, and there is now zero projects of national interest. All he had to do is remove all of the liberal laws that were against developing our natural resources. Instead, he proposed a Bill 5 where he would select projects of national interest. But the thing is, he's the most conflicted prime minister in Canadian history. When he said he only had cash and a little bit of real estate, and then we find out he has 103 conflicts of interest and 95% of his assets are located in the United States. So every single day we have these tariffs on Canada. It's benefiting his own portfolio in the United States. You can't make any of this stuff up, Canada. And all of these Bill 5 projects of national interest, are they going to conflict with this 103 conflicts of interest? If they have anything to do with green tech or green anything, it is definitely going to enrich him. Then the liberals throughout the campaign, Bruce Fanjoy, and all the liberals said, we will never cut the public sector. That's why you're voting for us. Then we find out he has to increase military spending to 2% in order to just talk to Donald Trump. And what happens next? He comes out and says he's going to cut 15% of the government. And these government cuts are the most significant cuts in modern history in Canada. It's massive. So that he could save $9 billion and reach that 2% target. I really hope that Bruce Fanjoy is the person to deliver the pink slips. Man, that will be sweet. And let's not forget about the backlash of him coming out just 2 days before we get this amazing trade deal with Donald Trump on August 1st. He wants statehood for Palestine. Why is Canada getting involved? It would have been an easy phone call to Donald Trump and say, hey, Canada's thinking of doing this. But guess what? We just found out that Donald Trump is not even picking up the phone for Mark Carney. They're not even talking. They don't even like each other at this point. And let's now talk about unmet expectations. He said on July 1st, we would have no barriers across Canada. Free trade for everybody, increasing our productivity by over $200 billion. It would make us rich. Could give ourselves more than anyone could take. We're on August 1st, and there is still no free trade across this country. Only 3 provinces decided to sign a deal. And guess what? They're all broken apart, so we can't even get a pipeline to Ontario because Manitoba said no. And BC, David Eby, he also said no. Then we have Doug Ford saying that we are the most united country on planet Earth. He's never seen Canada so united. And we have Alberta actively looking to separate from this country. And both Alberta and Saskatchewan has come out and said we need to remove all of the retaliatory tariffs and listen to Lutnick. Guess what? Everybody else is like elbows up. It's costing us. We are not united. Plus, half of this country voted for the Conservatives. The other side voted for the Liberals. The entire country is broken in 2. And we can't forget about supply management. Such a little piece of our GDP. And they're going to defend it and willing to sacrifice the entire economy just for a little bit of cow milk. And then they offered us this beautiful tax cut, 76 cents a day. I don't know where I'm going to spend all that money. Honestly, my pockets are so full of cash, they're bursting at the seams. This entire tax cut has been a complete joke because by the end of this year, inflation will not only gobble up all of the tax cut, but I'm going to owe $500 more for groceries. And guess what? The waning honeymoon. There are polls that are coming out showing that Mark Carney's honeymoon phase is starting to fizzle out, and it's fizzling out fast based on no trade deal and nothing to show for it since he showed up in our lives. We've only seen him talk. We haven't seen any action. And then he says that we are the most European, non-European country. And we're going to pledge 5% of our GDP towards military. That means he's going to gut healthcare. He's going to get all the social programs, dental, and childcare because we can't afford that kind of increase in expenses. We're already running a almost $100 billion deficit this year alone. And I took that look at the numbers next year. It is close to a $150 billion deficit. We have 60% of all mortgages in Canada renewing by the end of next year, all at double or more rate as of today. We see our real estate market starting to crumble. It's a slow-moving train wreck because of all of the uncertainty. And then we just found out today that even conservatives and also liberals are looking to join the EU. There's a new poll that came out. We're going to take a look at it. We have Polling Canada say, should Canada consider initiating the formal process of joining the EU? 46% of Canadians want to join Europe, a collapsing society, socialism gone wrong, trying to get to net zero and collapsing their energy sector. Germany's been in a recession for 2 years. We want to join that? I don't think so. The reason I'm showing you this, if this is correct, I don't know, but it shows how broken this country is. I thought Mark Carney was supposed to be unifying us, making us all unified. Like Doug Ford said, the most unified we've ever been. And Mark Carney basically blew up trade talks with Donald Trump over this.
And to demilitarize the Palestinian state.
Yeah, he said they have to demilitarize, then they get their statehood. Well, we just got some breaking news. It was all for nothing.
To some media reports in Israel, quoting the US envoy Steve Witkoff about Hamas's laying down their arms. We reaffirm that resistance and its arms are a legitimate national and legal right as long as the occupation continues.
Oh my goodness. What? We risked trade negotiations with Donald Trump for Hamas saying that they're not going to be removing anything. This is unbelievable. CP24 wrote, Canadians will be our own best customer. Carney hits back on new Trump tariffs. We're going to be buying from Canada. So I wrote, imagine your customer is broke. They're taxed at 43%, $200 away from insolvency, and drowning in debt. Now imagine your genius CEO says, let's grow by selling more to them. That is Canada right now. Because it's true. And Jason Dodd, he posted this picture. Yeah, this is what we're doing. I got a couple CBC clips. The reason I'm showing you this is because they're economists, business people. We need to hear from the business people
that are facing that higher tariff now. This is yet more pain. And yes, 95% of products going across aren't going to face it, but a lot of companies make a lot of stuff that still does go across, and it's a headache, and it's extra cost, and it's more uncertainty. But that's the bigger thing, is the uncertainty here is enormous. And this is a deepening of the crisis. Every step we take to make trade between Canada and the United States even a little harder is really hard to undo. That is a bell that cannot be unrung.
And he's bang right. The uncertainty in itself. So you're going to hear a lot of the liberal supporters. They're going to come out and say, it's only 5%, 95% is in Kuzma. But what they don't understand is it's economically damaging to have uncertainty. We have $900 million of money leaving our country and going down to the United States every single day. It's catastrophic.
What is your take, though? Is this a success or a failure for Prime Minister Carney?
No way can this be called a success. Look, the tariff at 35% on
It's a failure. It is so bad right now.
Canada is, I think, the third highest that he's applied around the globe. Brazil's number 1 at 50. I think Syria's at 41. And we're number 3 in terms of the punitive nature of the tariff. The president's not taking the prime minister's calls. There are no formal discussions scheduled for the next little while. I assume they're going to be talking over the phone, but people have come back from Washington.
Yeah, can you believe it? They've come back from Washington. There's no more talking. He's not picking up the phone for Mark Carney. This thing has gone from bad to worse.
They also axed the digital services tax. What else can Carney do at this point?
Not a lot in terms of appeasement, because I think they've gone as far as they can go. If I listen to Minister LeBlanc, as I did on Radio Canada this afternoon, he seemed to suggest that the Americans were looking for us to take down the $30 billion counter tariffs that we imposed earlier this year. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary in Washington, made a point of saying that Canada was only one of 2 countries that imposed counter tariffs, that retaliated in effect. I get the impression that the Americans would like to see those come down. I don't know how you do that, given that Mr. Carney did pull back the digital sales tax and got absolutely nothing for it. One thing he could do, if I listen to Americans here and some of those in Washington, one thing he could do is talk to Mr. Trump more often. They're never going to be bosom buddies. They are completely different animals. You couldn't get more cat and dog in a way. But that being said, the Americans, there are some Americans who are urging Mr. Carney to develop more of a relationship with Mr. Trump, some kind of relationship that is apart from the tussle over trade. It's a tough one, but I've covered lots of prime ministers, and I know that when you have a better relationship at the summit level, a lot of the problems underneath can get cleared away in a hurry. That's a difficult one for Mark Carney, but he is being urged to call more often, and call not necessarily on trade. The whole Palestinian issue is one thing that was brought to the fore. Could he have called up the White House ahead of time and said, we're going to do this, and then maybe use it as an excuse to get into trade? Perhaps.
We are so screwed in Canada. Why did Canadians elect Mark Carney? He has no charisma. He has no personality. If he called me, I'd be like, what are we going to talk about? Nothing. There's nothing to talk about between these two individuals. Mark Carney and Donald Trump are in different planets. One is woke. Donald Trump despises woke. And the other one is a businessman. That is cool. He wants to go golfing. He wants to have fun. He handshakes the deals. That's what I'm trying to say. We could have had a conservative-led government where we could have had Pierre Poilievre as a buddy of Donald Trump, and they would have got a trade deal done by now. Instead, we have our country looking to join the EU. Do you not see how insane this is? And here's the problem, Canada. Mark Carney's looking for the best deal for Canada, which does not exist.
We are looking for the best deal for Canada. We are only going to accept the best deal for Canada. That is very much informed.
Oh, geez. See, he's only going to accept the best deal. He's basically dug himself into a pit. You can't get back out of this. So if there's literally any tariffs, one tariff on Canada, it will be a complete failure for Mark Carney. Elbows Up voted for no tariffs, and that's why they selected Mark Carney. So they are also going to be pissed. But you know the Liberals, they're going to blame Donald Trump on everything and spin it somehow. But we all see the mask now. The mask is going to be removed real quick. And this is one of the biggest stories, and it should wake Canadians up. Enbridge sees strong demand in the US and hurdles in Canada. They literally left Canada to go down to the United States. Why would they do this? We have the third largest oil reserve on planet Earth, but that's not good enough. It's because the US is easier to deal with. Canada is considered a hostile country for energy. And there's only one group at fault. It's the Liberal government. It can't be a show without a meme. I created a picture of Mark Carney. What did it look like for Mark Carney in the last few days? Trying to call Donald Trump. Please, please, Donald Trump. I promise no more elbows. Just pick up. Pay close attention to this clip with Trevor Tome. It's short, it's sweet, and it's on supply management. It's unreal.
Or more important now than it was then. And the simple transition here could be something where we levy a tax on milk. And we use the revenue from that tax to compensate farmers for the lost quota value. And that might not sound great, like, oh, a tax on milk, but there's a way to have the tax be actually less than the cost we're implicitly paying right now in the form of more expensive milk because of the supply management system. So there is a win-win where we can compensate producers for lost quotas and consumers can win. And then over the period of some time, and I believe Australia was a 10-year period, we're transitioning to this much more competitive, much stronger sector, although probably a smaller one, and lower cost milk and other items for consumers. So we can't just keep pretending like the current system is not a problem. It's a problem for consumers. It's a problem for our partners, not just the United States.
Well, and
we need to think about how to get out of this problem. And the sooner we can move, the better.
Can you believe it? We could charge a tax, which is going to be lower than the price of milk that it is currently in place. It's a win-win for everybody. This is unreal. We better take a look at this. We just got a new report from Better Dwelling. Canada's job vacancy rate plunges to 8-year low, worse than pre-pandemic. It's so low. So if you're wondering why you can't find a job, it's because they don't exist. And you're not going to believe this story. Alberta Safeway removes Alberta flag from Medicine Hat store after a complaint. Someone complained about the flag and they actually took it down. What is happening in this country? Imagine that was a rainbow flag. What if somebody complained about that? Would they take it down? Honest question. We'll finish off with this. Canada Post actually rejected the Crown Corporation's final offer. I guarantee you, Amazon could replace Canada Post tomorrow and we wouldn't even notice them gone. What do you think about Mark Carney's scorecard? I'm going to be keeping tabs on where we're at. Hopefully you're having a wonderful long weekend. I'll see you on the next report.